All right, Kelly. So a couple things the inspector found. One is the tenant said when it rains really hard, the track fills up with water, and the inspector had that read that this whole thing floods. So I think I'm going to turn the hose on and see what happens. Let's do it right now. All right, so my lovely assistant here is flooding the area. Yeah, let's keep it off the track because I could see it getting on the track and filling up the track.
Yeah.
So we're flooding this area, and it's not going to fill up. It's just going to flow down this way, and then you can see it'll all go out that way. So that's not. I don't think that's what she's talking about. The other thing of note is right here. There's 2 cleanouts for the sewer line. There's that guy, and then there's one in the garage. We'll go check that out. He suggested doing a sewer video just to see if there's anything clogging it. And normally it's sort of like a bullet point where the inspector just says you should do this. Usually if there's trees, and there is trees, then I'm more prone to to do it. But these houses aren't that old, so it's a couple $100, $200-300. In the kitchen, he found that there was no. Normally for the dishwasher, you have a little extra hole here for the gap or the air gap. Sometimes suds come out of it. There are dishwashers that don't have that, and maybe this is one of them. But usually, what you can do is, if you want to take this out in a new faucet with a spray valve, you can put the thing right there. The inspector noted that there might be asbestos in here. My feeling is he has to say to test it and inspect it. My feeling is if you have a painter come and scrape, then they can do it if they want to. The garage, there's a couple of things in the garage. So one thing, there was water stains. So he goes up and he turns on the water, and then he comes down with the moisture meter, and he didn't find that this was wet at all. So the tub typically will leak at some point. This will come up on a termite report as a Section 2 item, which doesn't require any immediate stuff. He pointed out this vent. So this is a pressure relief valve, and he says it needs to be downhill. The pressure builds up and then it shoots out. And normally you want to have this downward, so this slopes up this way a little bit, and so does this part. And then the other thing is this vent. So the vent, the furnace, that's probably the original furnace vent, and then you can see that it actually goes down a little bit as well. And that's not something that you want. And what they probably should have done is just had this vent come all the way up here between these big ducts, and then tie in here or something. He thought it was probably because the water heater before this one, it's a newer water heater, it's 2010. He probably thought it was shorter, so they probably ran out of space up here. Over here, you'll find a firewall. There'll be holes in the firewall, and basically it's around any of these things. If there's a hole here, you got to patch it because that keeps the fire from getting inside the livable areas. And like right there, that's another clean out, and that shouldn't be. That's another fire hazard or whatever. And the way you remedy the fire holes is just to patch it. So he said the garage door is a little noisy. I see a little squeaky, but I think it's fine. Over here is your water turn off, and then a pressure valve. So he says the pressure right now is really high. It's like 118, 119, and it should be 80. So this guy right here is a pressure relief valve, or it's a pressure valve regulator. So that should be adjusted to reduce the pressure. And then to measure the pressure, he puts a dial thing, a gauge here on the tip of the hose, and then he turns everything on, then he turns it off. And if there's no leaks, everything should be sitting, the pressure should hold. If there is, the pressure, it goes down. There is a dripping hose nozzle in the back, and we think that might be the reason. You point out some termite damage that I think that it's not his official task to do, but down here there's some rot. A lot of that's just because the vegetation is so close. Let's see what else.